Here we go. Before I get to the Pacers' impossibly bad collapse last night and Karl Anthony Towns' shockingly great 20-point fourth quarter last night, man, I have to unleash about another player who plays home games in that very same Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Caitlin Clark. My question is, when is Caitlin Clark's league going to stop resenting her, being jealous of her, stop allowing defenders to get physical with her without calling fouls, to bully her, instead of accepting and embracing her league-changing, league-lifting impact? That's my question. When is the WNBA going to start respecting Caitlin Clark is the question. Somebody please answer me that question. This show and this correct opinion is brought to you by Fanduel, America's #1 sports book. But last night, I watched every dribble of Knicks at Pacers in Gainbridge. And what shocked me as much as the Knicks' third 20-point road comeback in these playoffs, was that the Knicks pulled it off with the Pacers seemingly getting every single call. Everyone except a fairly late foul call on Siakam. I think it was 2:51 left. Siakam clearly blocked McBride, but I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 8 other calls went against the New York Knicks, the team the NBA most wants in the NBA Finals, New York's team. You would have thought the refs were instructed to give the Knicks, who were down obviously 0-2 going into last night, give them every borderline call, every 50-50 chance to steal game 3 should have been handed, gift wrapped for the Knicks from the referees. Nope. It felt like the refs were anti-Knicks, which made no sense. I don't know, maybe they were psychologically influenced, if not intimidated, by that Indy crowd, which can be loud, though I doubt the Pacers crowd is any louder than the Fever crowd that packs that very same arena. That Fever crowd is said to be the WNBA's loudest and most intimidating. Which brings me to another game I watched on Saturday. Another New York team playing an Indiana team in that very same Gainbridge Fieldhouse. That game on Saturday was live on national TV on CBS. The New York Liberty are, of course, the defending champs of the WNBA. But the main reason that game did a massive TV rating wasn't Breanna Stewart or Sabrina Ionescu. The main reason, obviously, is by far the biggest draw in the WNBA. The reason just about every Fever road game is moved to that city's NBA arena. That reason, that player is obviously Caitlin Clark. So the Liberty at Fever game came down to 3 very late calls, all of which went against Caitlin's team, the home team, in the loudest and most intimidating arena. The Pacers got those calls, not the Fever. So help me out here. 12 seconds left. Caitlin Clark made a sensational bounce pass through heavy traffic in the lane. Just a wizard pass to Dewana Bonner, who appeared to get tackled as she shot. Not block shot, just tackled, just rammed. No call. What? Then on the other end, Lexi Hull of the Fever did a very nice job of just staying right with Sabrina as she drove to her left, did not appear to make any significant contact at all with Sabrina, with body or hand. Foul on Lexi Hull with 2.2 seconds left. What? What foul? The Fever did have a challenge left. I immediately tweeted, challenge. But the Fever, I didn't know at the moment, had no timeouts left to use that challenge. No challenge. And Sabrina, who had just missed 2 free throws, stepped to the line and made both of these. New York up 2. Way to go, Sabrina. Now, 2.2 left. Inbounds to Caitlin Clark, who drove hard left on Natasha Cloud, who was all over Caitlin Clark as she went up into her shooting motion just before the buzzer. It sure appeared that Natasha Cloud body fouled Caitlin, rammed her, then hacked her across the wrist, then hit her arm as she attempted to get the shot up. No call. Loose ball. Turnover. Game over. What? No call? I mean, Caitlin Clark has at least earned that call at home in that moment. Not only was she obviously Rookie of the Year last year, but she made first team All WNBA last year in her rookie year. First team. Top 5. Now, would she have been able to do what LeBron obviously couldn't do, which is go to the line, make the 2 free throws to send it to overtime? You better believe that she could have. She made 91% of her free throws last season. 91%. LeBron, of course, is a career 74% free throw shooter. But the point is, Caitlin Clark deserved the opportunity to shoot those 2 free throws. The point is, her team deserved the previous 2 calls at home in the final 12 seconds. The Indiana Fever, in the loudest, most intimidating arena in the league, got screwed 3 times, not 2, 3 times in the final 12 seconds of a very close game, and obviously got robbed at home, in that home. Fever coach Stephanie White, after the game, called the no call on Bonner egregious. It was. And the foul call on Lexi Hull disrespectful. It was more than disrespectful. Yet neither White nor Caitlin Clark addressed the no call on Caitlin's final shot attempt, probably because they've learned not to fan the flames of resentment against Caitlin Clark any more than they rage already. You'd better believe that all of the established stars in this WNBA, as well as lots of veteran starters on every other team, constantly, quietly, privately complain to their coaches and to their team executives about Caitlin Clark getting way too much attention and way too much credit for the exploding TV ratings. The attitude I sense from so many other older WNBA players seems to be, what are we, chopped liver? It's not just her driving these ratings. What have we been doing all these years? Sorry, ladies, but compared to her drawing power, you are chopped liver. You're just going to have to accept that she and she alone is driving the ratings way above what all of you together were able to generate before she first set foot on a WNBA stage. Now, Caitlin did have a rookie foil figure opposite her in Angel Reese. And man, Caitlin versus Angel in this year's opener set the all-time WNBA ratings record. But as cool and charismatic as Angel is, as dominant as she is on social media, as opposed to Caitlin, the truth is that Angel can't begin to match Caitlin's basketball drawing power when Angel's forte it's just rebounding. People just won't pay or tune in just to watch Angel rebound against non-Caitlin teams. I mean, Caitlin Clark controls games with magical wow passes and jump shot logo threes. I'm talking about the female Steph logo threes. And yeah, fans and viewers can't get enough of Caitlin and Angel pushing and shoving each other, really going at it in what has already become the ultimate WNBA rivalry. So come on, ladies. Quit complaining about Caitlin Clark and just accept and embrace that she is the reason all of you ultimately will make far, far more money. But no, petty jealousy kicks in, takes over. Other teams are constantly complaining to the league office about all the publicity and all the credit that Caitlin Clark gets. Even though she doesn't do much on social media, doesn't say much when she's interviewed, just says all the right things, nothing but cliches and platitudes, nothing but respect for all of the older stars in the league. Caitlin's actually pretty boring unless she's playing basketball. Yet this league office is obviously deathly afraid of an open player revolt, just a revolution against Caitlin Clark, a mutiny against Caitlin Clark. So the refs are given the message. They're clearly afraid to protect Caitlin Clark from the bully tactics and the excessive physicality inflicted on her. Heck, I don't know, maybe veteran refs are resentful of all the attention that Caitlin Clark gets. I don't know. That's the way it looked on Saturday. Talk about biting the hand that feeds you, or letting defenders bite that hand. I mean, is it because Caitlin Clark is white? She brings in tons of new white fans? Who cares what color they are, as long as they're watching and buying tickets? Is it because she flashes a little attitude during games, a little arrogance, occasionally gets a little heated? What superstar doesn't? I mean, she was first team all WNBA as a rookie, and I won't be surprised if she wins MVP this season. Is it her new State Farm commercial that maybe set off some of the older stars? It's the one, Caitlin does everything better from a portable logo. Hey, I laughed the first time I saw it. I continue to chuckle at it. It's clever. It's funny. So let me get this straight. The Indiana Pacers got all those calls last night at Gainbridge against the New York Knicks, while the Indiana Fever got screwed 3 times in the final 12 seconds at Gainbridge against the New York Liberty. Really? Man, happy Memorial Day, WNBA. It should be Christmas in May, but you just can't quite get your arms around the greatest thing who ever happened to your league and your future. Whew. Now, time for my NBA playoff picks. And by the way, if you're thinking about betting a few bucks on tomorrow night's Game 4s, the only place to start is Fanduel, America's #1 sports book. It's the Cowboys, Lakers, Yankees all rolled into one. The place to be, the dominant franchise, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Find all the best player props on Fanduel, get the latest stats right inside the app, see who's consistently hitting that over, who's flirting with triple doubles. Then once the game starts, it can really get interesting when you combine live prop bets into a same game parlay for a chance to win big. Why not give FanDuel a shot today. You could do it right now. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit fanduel.com/skip. Use my name, /skip. Do it now, fanduel.com/skip. Tonight, well, since I've already guaranteed a Thunder bounce back win, I'll get to much more on that in just a moment. I'm going to go tonight, Thunder giving 3 points at Minnesota. The game initially opened at 4 points. I guess I wouldn't be shocked if the Thunder won by 2 or 3, but I'll have the courage of my convictions after the Thunder lost game 3 by 42 points, and I'll say they'll win by 3 or more. Pretty gutsy, but I'm doing it. I still can't believe the way the Pacers collapsed at home in game 3 with a 20-point lead in the second quarter, and I just don't think they'll allow that to happen again. Nor do I believe Karl Anthony Towns is capable of another 20-point fourth quarter, so give me the Pacers giving only 2.5. I believe they'll win by at least 10. I love that one. Now, speaking of KAT, on the night of October 2nd, I said the Minnesota Timberwolves fleeced the New York Knicks in that KAT trade. The T-Wolves got Julius Randle, who is physically and mentally tougher than Kitty Cat, who just has too much mouse in him. And Minnesota, wait, they also got Dante DiVincenzo, a hard-nosed defender who'll take and make big threes. Man, the final score of that trade was something like last Saturday night's 143-102 Minnesota. That's what it felt like. But I must admit, Karl Anthony Towns played like a tiger Sunday night at Indiana. I just didn't think he had that in him. 20 points in the fourth quarter, 20 and 8 rebounds in the fourth quarter. He had 15 total rebounds. He went 6 of 9 from the floor, 3 of 4 from 3 in the fourth, and 5 of 6 from the free throw line. All of this with Jaylen Brown in foul trouble. And by the way, his counterpart on the Pacers, Miles Turner, who a lot of people think will be a Los Angeles Laker pretty soon, he went LeBron in the fourth quarter, did Miles Turner, 0 for 4 from the floor because he was 0 of 4 from 3. Wow. He just kept clanking. The Pacers clanked throughout the fourth quarter. They went 1 of 8 from 3, 5 of 19 from the floor. And I know, I look at the numbers, and Karl Anthony Towns has always been a little better shooter and a better rebounder than Julius Randle. But I just don't trust Karl Anthony Towns. But I must admit, that was the best I've ever seen him play when it really mattered. I'll believe it when I see that again, at least a reasonable facsimile of that. But boy, was that big time impressive. And there was that game, too, the other night in Oklahoma City when Chris Finch benched Julius Randle because Finch just didn't like Julius Randle's sort of frustrated body language. So for the moment, I must say the trade looks like it benefited both teams. But I still believe Minnesota ultimately will be a little happier with that trade, just hopefully not at the expense of my Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm about to get to my Thunder, but allow me to repeat what I've said about the Eastern Conference Finals. Allow me to repeat it with more conviction than ever. The more I watch the Pacers and the Knicks, I just believe my Thunder will beat either one of them in 5 games in the finals. I'm going to remind you, my Oklahoma City Thunder during the season went 29-1 against the Eastern Conference. They lost 1 game. think it was January the 8th at Cleveland. Just one game. They beat the Knicks twice, obviously, by 10 points and 25 points. They beat the Pacers twice by 21 points and 6 points. They went 29-1 against the East. The East will be overmatched against the Thunder if, of course, they get out of the West. Hold that thought for just a second. I can't tell you how many times over the years that Ernestine and I have sent Omaha Steaks as gifts, birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, thank you gifts. And I cannot tell you how many times those giftees have texted back that they're barbecuing or they're just savoring their Omaha Steaks. Can't miss gifts. Hey, can't miss gift for yourself. Bring home the world's best steak experience with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Memorial Day sale happening now. And for an extra $35 off, it's considerable savings. Use promo code SKIP, S-K-I-P, my first name, S-K-I-P. Promo code SKIP at checkout. Save $35. That's omahasteaks.com. See site for details. Now, I will admit I was pretty shook up by what happened Saturday night to my Oklahoma City Thunder. When I woke up Sunday morning, I had one of those initial flashes of, oh, wait a second, did that really happen or did I dream that? I had that kind of a flash. That really happened. Minnesota 143, Oklahoma City 101 really happened. And in the dawn's early light, I just laid there for a few minutes staring up at the ceiling, trying to come to grips with how that happened and why that happened and how concerned I should be over that happening. Okay, I'll admit I briefly considered how scared I should be that happened. As you probably know, I immediately posted a video after 143 to 101, a video predicting the Thunder will win Game 4. A video comparing Game 3 to the infamous Memorial Day massacre of 40 years ago. Larry Bird's Celtics massacring Magic Johnson's Lakers, 148 to 114 in Boston in Game 1. 148 to 114. Then the Lakers turned right around and won Game 2 by 7 and won the NBA Finals in 6 games. So I stand by what I said Saturday night. The Thunder are, as I just said, favored by 3, opened at 4, now 3. They are still heavy favorites to win the NBA championship. And even though it felt like the Timberwolves won 4 games just on Saturday night alone, the Thunder are still up 2 games to 1. Western Conference Finals, home court advantage. But yes. After the first 2 games in Oklahoma City, I predicted the Thunder would go win a down-to-the-wire Game 3 in Minnesota, then sweep the T-Wolves pretty easily in Game 4. I predicted that, and man, was I ever wrong about Game 3. I did tweet just before the game that I expected Anthony Edwards to have a big game and for the T-Wolves to play for their playoff lives with extreme desperation. Yet I figured the Thunder would weather the early storm and start to exert the superiority they showed, that they proved in Games 1 and 2 in Oklahoma City, my hometown. Those first 2 games were just flat-out mismatches. Minnesota had no answers for the Thunder's thunder ability. their defensively detonated surge ability, their thunderbolts, no answer for their thunderbolts. So you bet I was pretty confident game 3 would at least be close. No. But here's what was crazy about the start of game 3. Isaiah Hartenstein immediately took over the game. He made it 2-0 on a lob dunk from Chet Holmgren. Then Ant-Man missed a 3, his first 3 of the game. Then Hartenstein made one of his patented push floaters. It was 4-0 Thunder. Then Hartenstein blocked Gobert's shot. And Jalen Williams had a wide open 3 to make it 7-0. But he missed. I wonder what would have happened if he'd made that. Would it have changed things at all? It's a good question. Then Julius Randle, speaking of, really made the 2 biggest shots of the game. He made 2 quick jumpers from sort of wing and corner, and it was 4-4. And those shots served as jumper cables for Ant-Man. And all of a sudden, he started scoring, and his teammates started feeding off him and off their home crowd. And the Timberwolves began playing attack mode defense the way the Thunder usually play that kind of defense. And the Timberwolves quite suddenly did a Thunder on the Thunder. So in the first 2 minutes of that game, the Thunder had, if I can use a boxing analogy, knocked the T-Wolves down, knocked them down. But the T-Wolves had survived the standing 8 count. And then the T-Wolves suddenly caught the Thunder with a punch the Thunder never saw coming. A thundering uppercut that caught them flush in the jaw and knocked the Thunder out in the first round or first quarter. Yesterday, my lawyer asked me how quickly I made Hazel leave my man cave. Hazel, my daughter, my Maltese. She's often good luck for me as she sleeps at my feet during all the games that I watch, all the games I root for. But I have been known to ask Hazel to go watch a Hallmark movie with her mom, Ernestine, when a game's going south for me and I desperately need to change my luck by getting her out of my man cave. That tactic, of course, drives my wife Ernestine out of her mind. How dare you treat this poor little dog like that? But the truth was, I never even had a chance to consider telling Hazel it was time to go on Saturday night. The Thunder got hit by lightning. I was blindsided, cold-cocked, thunderstruck. This game was over after just 1 quarter. My Thunder went from a shot to go up 7-0 to down 20 after 1 quarter. Hazel stayed. Now, I can't say my Thunder quit in that game. They just got buzzsawed in half. Look, they obviously got a little too full of themselves, started reading about how dominant they were, probably saw me saying they were going to sweep. And they came out with, we got this energy, ho-hum energy, about 50% of their usual energy. And the Thunder got hit with 10,000 volts of desperate lightning. The Minnesota Timberwolves cannot play any better than they did Saturday night. All their frustrations, all their fears of getting embarrassed, and their house just spilled all over the Thunder like rocket fuel. I mean, Julius Randle and Ant-Man combined to hit 21 of 32 shots. If they keep doing that every game, they will win the NBA championship. Minnesota made 20 of 40 threes. Minnesota crushed Oklahoma City on the boards 51-30. Minnesota won the turnover battle. First time all playoffs, Oklahoma City lost the turnover battle and lost points in the paint for the first time all playoffs. The Oklahoma City Thunder, the deepest team in the NBA by far, lost bench scoring 66-52. Lord, have mercy on my Oklahoma City Thunder on Saturday night. The T-Wolves just wanted that game way worse than the Thunder did. The Thunder just did not believe the T-Wolves had that in them. But the Thunder believe that now. That's why I said in my post-game video that this was the best thing that could have happened to my Thunder. Now they will play game 4 with what Greg Popovich has always called appropriate fear. Appropriate fear. Yet, I must admit Saturday night's final score just sticks in my craw, haunts my psyche, gives me inappropriate fear. How about that? Inappropriate fear. I mean, come on now. 143-101? The NBA's number one defensive team gave up 143 points. The Thunder, who set the all-time NBA record for point differential and was on its way to setting the all-time playoff record for point differential, suddenly, shockingly, impossibly lost a game by 42 points? What? That I cannot completely explain. I mean, think about this. In the regular season, the Thunder's positive point differential was 1,055 points, which shattered the all-time record of the 1972 Lakers, which was 1,007 points. Then came the 71 Bucks. That was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, then Lou Alcindor. That was 1,005 points. And then there were Michael Jordan's 96 Bulls at 1,004 points. Thunder just shattered all that. Their second worst loss was in the in-season tournament finals, a game that did not count. They lost by 16 to the Bucks that night. But their worst loss, and it did count, came late in the season at home on a Sunday afternoon when LeBron and Luka and the Lakers made a statement, made 22 of 43s, and SGA had a pretty quiet 22 points and was 1 of 6 from 3, and the Lakers won by 27. That was the worst loss in the regular season. But 2 nights after that, the Thunder got even with the Lakers. That was again in Oklahoma City, when the Thunder won 136-120 as SGA rebounded with 42 points on 5 of 9 threes. That's why I like the Thunder tonight. That's who they are. That's what they're made of. Now, I must admit, I did not love the way the Thunder played in Game 1 at home against Denver. They lost that game by 2 points. Then they won Game 2, 149-106. And I did not love the way they blew Game 3 in Denver, but they bounced back facing a potential 3-1 deficit, and they won Game 4 in Denver by 5 points. Thunder were pretty awful in Game 6 at Denver. They lost by 12, but I challenged their manhood, said they were going to lose all credibility if they lost Game 7 at home, and they dominated 125-93. Now, obviously, they aren't facing extinction tonight, yet I guarantee you that the NBA at large is again just rolling its eyes at the nobodies from nowhere, the team nobody outside my hometown of Oklahoma City wants to see in the NBA Finals. This OKC team doesn't have a KD or a Russ or a James Harden. It has a guy from Canada who somehow won MVP and another guy from Canada who mostly plays defense and 2 guys named Jalen Williams. Many fans can't tell apart. I guarantee you the Draymond Greens and the Paul Pierces are rubbing their hands together over the prospect of Ant-Man going Jordan/Kobe tonight, leading the T-Wolves to another Thunder exposing blowout of the Thunder, another 30 or 40 point win over the team nobody fears, as Draymond and Paul Pierce have both said. The OKC haters and doubters will be on the edge of their seats tonight, anticipating more Thunder blunders, anticipating Minnesota taking over and winning this series in 6 games and saving the NBA Finals from the no-names from nowhere. Look, I have been covering 7-game series in basketball and baseball for, nearly 50 years. They can really mess with your mind from night to night to night. They can really make you prisoner of so many misleading moments. I'll never forget a World Series I just watched when I was a kid. I think I was 8 years old. The classic Yankees-Pirates series that ended with the greatest Game 7 ever played in any sport, which was ended by Bill Mazeroski's 9th inning walk-off homer over Yogi Berra's head in left field in Pittsburgh at Forbes Field. The Yankees won 3 games of that series by these scores: 16-3, 10-0, and 12-0. And I'm sure most of America said the New York Yankees of Mantle and Maris were laughably better than the Pittsburgh Pirates, who were down 7-4 in the 8th inning of Game 7, who did rally to win 10-9, thanks to the greatest walk-off home run in World Series history, struck by a little second baseman named Mazeroski. My point is, you cannot overreact to one game, no matter how shockingly bad it was for the Thunder. Look, they shot 37.4% from 3 during the regular season. That was 6th best in the NBA. Yet they're now down to 32.4% for the playoffs. That's a huge drop-off, man. They are due from 3. They are highly capable of making 20 of 40 threes tonight. SGA is highly capable of going MVP on Ant-Man with 40-something points tonight. I believe in this team because it has earned my belief from the preseason moment I picked it to win the West, which it did by a record 16 games. So I'm going to burn the box score of 143-101, burn it right out of my psyche. No prisoner of the moment for me. Let the doubters doubt. Let the Thunder. Did they lose some confidence and momentum? No. Will they suffer some Game 3 hangover during Game 4? No. The Oklahoma City Thunder will win Game 4, and they will win the NBA championship. Breakfast of Champions. My final word today is about my alma mater, Vanderbilt University. My school is the only school in the 16-school Southeastern Conference that is truly an institution of higher learning. It's the only school that doesn't fit in what has become the most dominant sports league in America by far. This is the equivalent of an Ivy League school stuck in a conference stacked with football factories and basketball factories and baseball factories. They call Vanderbilt the Harvard of the South, though Harvard is actually the Vanderbilt of the Northeast. But the truth is, there is no way Vanderbilt should even consider competing in sports against the country's most formidable force of pro pipeline party schools. No way. But think about this. In the nation's final top 25 baseball ranking, 10 SEC schools made the top 25. 10. That's how deep and how great the SEC was this year in baseball. Yet the Harvard of the South just swept the SEC baseball tournament. Didn't lose a game. It's hard to do. Vanderbilt has won the SEC tournament twice in the last 3 years and 3 of the last 6 years in baseball. What's more, would you believe Vanderbilt is projected to be the number 1 overall seed on the road to Omaha for the College World Series? Number 1 overall seed, Vanderbilt. That's because Vanderbilt is number 1 in the nation in RPI and KPI. Wait, Vanderbilt? We won baseball national championships in 2014 and 2019. We were national runner-up in 2015 and 2021. Over the last decade, the Harvard of the South has been the dynastic power among all those SEC baseball powers, Tennessee and LSU and Alabama and Florida and now Texas. This year, Arkansas and Kentucky and Georgia and Ole Miss and Auburn, they're all really, really good, but they're not Vandy. They don't have the best coach and teacher and father figure in America, Tim Corbin. Now they don't have the country's deepest pitching staff and the best defense in the country because Vandy does. And by the way, last year's Vanderbilt football team went to and did win a bowl game. And that quarterback, Diego Pavia, is back and just might be the talk of the SEC next season, if not the talk of the nation. Can you say Heisman? Our basketball team under first-year coach Mark Byington did make the NCAA tournament, got a bid, one of a record 14 SEC teams to make it, but we held our own in that conference. Do you realize how much harder it is to academically qualify athletic recruits at Vanderbilt than at all those pro pipeline party schools? Do you realize how much harder it is to get a student athlete into school and keep student athletes in school at Vanderbilt than at all those other schools? Vanderbilt is the one SEC school that actually puts the student in athlete. So come to Vanderbilt, get an Ivy League education, as well as an NFL or NBA or MLB contract. Impossibly great. We don't belong in the SEC academically, but we sure do athletically. Am I ever proud of my Vanderbilt Commodores? Anchor down. Happy Memorial Day. That's it for this episode. Thanks to Tyler Korn for producing, to Ernestine for overseeing, and to Hazel for approving.